Welcome to O Brothers RC. Today is TRX4 Upgrade Series episode 5, and I'm going to go ahead and do a few more modifications to the Bronco. Then I'm going to go ahead and match all those modifications on the Defender, and we're going to take them out and see which one is the better crawler after all the modifications I've done. So first up, I lifted the Bronco last week. And after doing so, I noticed that the front end was actually sitting quite a bit higher than the back because the back is heavier, of course, and it was squatting down. It looked pretty funny, as well as when it was climbing, the front was coming pretty far off the ground and at risk of flipping backwards. It also was losing traction in the front tires because of all the weight that was shifting to the back. In the front, I moved it back and up, and now the ride height looks much better, as well as I think it will function better. The next upgrade I'm doing today is widening the wheelbase. Since this thing has a lift now, I want it to sit a little bit wider so that it will look like a true Beef Supreme. It's really hard to widen the wheelbase without any aftermarket parts to work with, so I'm stretching it as far as I can by using a bigger hex nut spacer. These came off of a CR24, and they are just a couple millimeters, maybe a millimeter wider than the original. That, coupled with a beefier tire, is giving me quite a bit more width. As you can see there, this is the old width and this is the new width. So one thing I wanted to mention was, as soon as I took this thing in the water, it rusted up real bad. And the front knuckles started binding really bad when I got deep into my turns. I went ahead and oiled and greased everything up real well, and it probably won't happen again, of course, until my oil wears off. But, you know, just something that you should be thinking about if you're going to get this thing anywhere near water. You want to get some oil on this thing. So these are the DJ crawler tires that I showed you last week that I said I might install, and I definitely want to install them. They're super sticky. These are pretty beefy, and I'm going to run them with no foams because they're a little bit stiffer than these super soft scramblers. But I'm going to run these with no foams because the wheels I'm using are airtight and it should be okay. We'll see if we get any rolling out of the tire after we get it on the trail, and maybe I'll put some soft foams in them, but I'm going to try them without foams first. Since I'm going to run these without foams, I can put BBs in them because they'll roll freely inside, and that will give me some extra added weight. All right, now we got the BBs in there. Put my copper wrapped inner ring back in. Pretty heavy now. Get the wheel set down in here and get this back together. When you're mounting these spoked wheels, you've got to line the holes up properly. There's a couple of these little triangles here that are going to have a hole right at the point. If you line up the point on this one with the point on the back, you're not going to have to turn your wheel once you get it inside there. You just line it up before you push it in, and then you're pretty close. You might have to adjust it a little bit to either side to get it perfect, but that way you're not messing around trying to spin the wheel inside there. So a couple problems I was running into with these little hexes were that the pin won't fit into this slot. It's not quite big enough, as well as it won't fit down over the axle all the way because this axle is a little bit bigger than the CR24 axle. So in order to get it to work, I had to drill it out, and I also had to file out this slot just a little bit to get the axle pin to slide in there. Okay, one side is done, and I can tell you I really like the way these tires look. They are a bit taller, and that's why it's sitting crooked, because the other tires are obviously a little bit shorter. Definitely wider. I've gotten it widened out here. As you can see, we're not very far past the wheel well here with the scramblers, but on the other side we've got quite a bit, maybe 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters, Anyhow, it's quite a bit. It looks fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other two done. All right, so there it is. We've got all four of them on. It looks great. It's got a real nice wide stance, as well as some extra clearance underneath here. Nice wide stance. Looks great. I hope it performs as well as it looks. What are you doing, Hogan? Everybody knows that drinking and skating don't mix, bro. Let's get the Defender done, and then we'll take them out and give them a test. Haha, I told you, man. At least you didn't spill your beer, though. All right, let's get started on the Defender while those fools get straightened out over there. First, we'll relocate the shocks. While I'm lifting this, I'm also going to slide the ESC forward, and it moves the shocks forward as well, which is pretty sweet. Gives them a little bit better angle, especially now that I've moved this shock forward. It's going to give it a good angle to where it gets a better articulation. Just pull the two screws out of each side. Slide it forward and reinstall the screws. This comes factory with this extra hole up here so that you can slide the ESC forward. All right, the lift is done. It looks pretty good. Put some bigger tires on here, and this thing's gonna be Beef Supreme XL. We've got one side done. You can see that I've gained some offset here, some negative offset. Definitely a little wider. Love that. Gonna do the other side now. All right, we got all the wheels and tires back on, and it is looking beefy. Beef Supreme XL. I'm pretty stoked on how it looks. It's pretty beefy looking, and it looks freaking fantastic. I've got a ton of travel now. I got a lot of weight in these wheels, so it should articulate really well on the rocks. Man, let's get these things out on the course and see what they can do. So I'm going to start these guys off on the river rock section of my course. I think it's going to work the articulation really well. So let's check it out. I'm a little worried about the front wheels on the Bronco here because I didn't put foams in them, and they are pretty darn soft. They are rolling a little bit, which is definitely going to affect my steering. But the articulation is working very well. Can't say enough good things about the low range gears that I put in here. They are killer. There's the articulation in effect. Working really nice. These tires are gripping really well. Pretty stoked on that. Getting me get over obstacles here. I'm not getting any high centering. All right, let's take the Defender down the creek here, see how it works. They're a softer tire with a softer compound. They're definitely working better. Wow, the Defender's working really well. There we go. Definitely doing a little better than the Defender, which is interesting because the Defender's got better tires, but very nice. See if the Bronco can side hill this. Wow. Wow, with the lift, it side hilled that. That's pretty impressive. Tricky section here. Beautiful. So I'm super stoked with the capability of both trucks. The Bronco still has the edge, but not by much. But we've got a couple really capable crawlers at this point. And I've still got a few tricks to make them more capable. Like this video at all, found it helpful or entertaining, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Come back next week and check out the next episode in the TRX4M upgrade series. Thanks for watching.